Game of Thrones.
Hunger Games.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones. Daenerys is like my spirit animal.
I would rather live in the world of the Hunger Games.
Oh, wow. So many people die in both.
Hunger Games, because Game of Thrones just seems crazy.
Game of Thrones? Yeah, definitely. The Hunger Games, I would be awful at that.
I would more rather live in Game of Thrones, because in the Game of Thrones there's like all these excellent people look really crazy and there's monsters, and I want to eat chicken with my hands. Hunger Games is no food.
I'd rather live in Game of Thrones. I've read the books. I would love to have a direwolf. I'm pretty PG, but that's like the only raunchy thing that I love.
Oh, I love both.
I love both. I'm going to say Game of Thrones.
Yeah, me too.
I really
that's
enjoy
my favorite
it.
show, yeah.
Game of Thrones, only because I think they have better food options.
Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
Same.
I love Hunger Games.
I would probably rather live in Game of Thrones rather than Hunger Games. That's kind of scary world.
Hunger Games.
Game of Thrones because I like dragons, and Hunger Games, I have this feeling I would either be the very first to die or I just like hide. I have nightmares of being in the Hunger Games.
Games of Thrones. I'm a huge fan. All the way.
Hunger Games, just because they have clothing that can turn into fire, and I would just walk around with big pants that are made of fire all the time for no reason.
Game of Thrones. Hunger Games. I don't want to be fighting for my life. Game of Thrones, I could just go live in a village somewhere, I feel like.
Game of Thrones? Only because I get to have sex with everyone. What? Because they have really cool costumes.
Ooh, definitely Game of Thrones. Definitely. Everyone on Game of Thrones is so attractive. Am I weird for saying that? I think everybody on that show, I was like, yes, Jon Snow, I will make out with you.
Hunger Games.
I really like the fashion in the Hunger Games. I don't think, my odds are pretty good of not being selected as a tribute. And also, I like living. So Game of Thrones, that's pretty much guaranteed to not happen.